All right, let's call the meeting to order, roll call.
All right. Mitch Hodson.
Here.
James Coyle.
Here.
Scott Patchin.
Here.
Sam Louis-Reindl.
Here.
Jared Brammerson.
Here.
Terry Moyer.
Here.
Tyler Munson.
Here.
Everyone's here.
All right, pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right. Proof of posting, a copy of this notice on 10/7 was faxed to Star News, Cross Plains State Bank, Black Earth Branch, posted at the Black Earth Municipal Building, and Black Earth Post Office, and was on the Black Earth website, www.blackearthwisconsin.com. Public input. Okay, hearing none. Discussion action on $25,000 letter of credit waiver. Now, this is actually a little different than that, right? They had to actually put a deposit of $25,000.
So this would be a letter that they would have to go to their bank to say, yes, we have $25,000 in case something goes wrong. It's just a lot of administrative work on their end, and it takes a while to go, so that's why it was in our RFP. I don't know if it was just,
They said they'll do it, but what they said is they have a significantly larger investment than that, in the garbage cans coming here. So they said they usually ask municipalities to waive that type of fee. They said either way, it doesn't,
like, they'll do it, but it's just
yeah.
an administrative burden on their end, and it takes quite a while from the bank, even though it seems like it'd be something easy.
What kind of troubles can we get into if we waive it?
Just if they were to default on their contract, if we were to go after them, it should.
We'd have all their garbage containers.
We could ride around down in them.
What they're saying is, our investment in your community is a heck of a lot more than that already.
Yeah,
So,
And basically, they're just telling their bank, look, we have a committed,
yeah.
I make a motion to pass the letter of credit waiver for Pelletary for $25,000.
I'll second.
any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Discussion action, Dane, Iowa, true-up.
All right, so, got some numbers in my file. So the inquiry, from my understanding, was just where does the money go when we get our true-up? So what happens with our, Dane, Iowa bills, we get a bill every month for Dane, Iowa expenses, and they try to get it close to where the actual expenses are. If there's any refunds, they try to, or if there's any overpayment, they try to take it off the bills. There's a couple months that we'll have like a $2,000 Dane, Iowa bill, but they're usually, $17,000 to $20,000. And then after a certain part, since they operate on a different fiscal year than we do, they're not January to December, they'll just cut a check for any remainder, so then they clear up their books, send it back to the municipalities. So in June, we got a remainder check of $21,968.65. So that just goes back into what we're paying the fund from, the Dane, Iowa account.
So we don't ever see that, right? Budget, you don't ever see the revenue of.
Does that revenue stay in
That
the
account?
Dane, Iowa?
That's where it's been coded to.
Okay, so it's a matter of us asking them to cut us a check for the amount and putting it in.
No.
No, the thing is we've never seen where this money goes.
Yeah.
It goes back into this account because they're on a different fiscal year than we are. So at that point that their fiscal year ends, they're cleaning their books to bring us to zero, because all the way along, they've been billing us for what they think we're gonna owe. So at the end, they owe us money, but generally speaking, they're gonna take it back
But that
in their
money-
next fiscal year.
That
So where's
money
that-
goes into the account.
It goes back
Where
into
we pay Dane, Iowa every month out of it.
It goes back into that same Dane, Iowa.
So
fiscal.
where is that account,
Yeah,
is what I'm wondering.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's something.
And how much money is in it, what?
And what can be spent out of that account?
I mean, it's not a separate, bank account. It's not like a here's just Dana, sitting at the bank, and we don't have an electric bank account, we don't have a water bank account. Funds are designated for that, but that's outside of my knowledge.
I think what James is asking, he never sees it on the financials every month, which it should show up.
It should show up somewhere, so
Yes.
somebody has an idea of how much money we're
True up is.
bringing in.
So one of the things I worked on was making there's a financial report function within our software, that was never set up before, so finally got it working, at least functional. So now it's just trying to get the numbers where they need to be, so maybe that will be able to show that with an actual
Yeah.
financial statement, since it's never been set up before,
Thank you for doing that.
so
Yeah.
just trying to
Yeah.
help.
So I understand that it stays in Dane, Iowa,
Mhm.
and it's actually been an overbill to our customers. And what does Dane, Iowa do with it?
Is it an
They send it back to the
Is
village.
it an overbill of our customers?
It's an overbill.
Or is it an overbill of the village?
And then what does how does the village account for
The
it?
village has set fees that they charge the customers. So the true-up is a overpayment to the village and not from what,
Individual.
it wasn't, the customers weren't
Does
overcharged.
it end up in our general fund?
It would be a general fund, yes.
But it's also based on fiscal year, because their fiscal
Can't be
year.
on the general fund.
Well, it has to go into,
It has to
Because
go
we're
into-
getting charged per customer still. It's not the village getting charged for it.
The village,
Dane, Iowa does not charge customers, we do,
right?
based on our meters and that.
And then we
So the
pay
true-up
them
is what they overcharged us for our services to
in
them,
that fiscal period.
not what we've charged the customer. Our customer rates are fixed. So it's not something that gets refunded to the customer.
No.
It's paying us back for what we've overpaid.
As a municipality.
And it's only because their fiscal year falls different than ours. So generally speaking, they set the rate, and it's only an accounting adjustment because their fiscal year is different than ours. So if we would line it up that our year ends here, and we take that true up in, it's gonna show that
It
we're
won't break
right
even.
on what we're charging our
Not on,
customers.
actually.
It's,
They
no, it's never
overcharge us,
beyond,
so
because,
they don't have to come back for money later, and then they do a true-up.
Right,
And
I
we-
get that, I understand
so
what
we overcharge customers,
No.
No.
We're fixed. We don't charge it based on them.
stop, because the future capital improvement that was over in 2020, we had dropped from Dane, Iowa, so we're getting charged, but we charge per RLU for that, which is per resident.
Right.
That has already changed dramatically, and we're still charging them the regular
That's
amount.
because back then, the board decided to put it towards sewer projects and stuff.
Well, it had to go,
Yeah.
Dane, Iowa had to be able to pay itself, or rebuild itself.
Yeah.
So now Dane, Iowa has dropped that fee, and instead of us dropping that fee for the residents, we're still charging the residents for
Yeah.
that.
And that's going,
Is
that's,
it sewer or river?
that was
Well,
voted on.
we don't know,
You were on the board, I was not. But that was voted on by the board to go into like sewer projects and stuff like that. Because I read it in the minutes from that meeting.
but where is it? Is
What?
that what's sitting in the treasurer's report for sewer?
Well, you're saying, where's all that money?
I mean,
Some of it's in debt obligation on Center Street.
yeah, so we should be using it to pay off some of this stuff, but where is the money? How
Yeah.
much more
From
money?
what I understand, we'll have to check into it more, because
Yeah.
obviously you're not gonna get answers tonight, because we
Yeah,
don't
well, I
have
know.
Yeah.
But I do know that I've asked that, and some of it goes to the debt obligation to pay back Center Street sewer project.
Yeah.
So,
And while it sits in the general fund, it is earmarked.
yes, that's what the coding is.
So we can't spend it out of the general fund for anything other than.
But he wants to see it.
Yeah,
Okay.
everybody needs to
Fair
see
question.
what we're making, and we
Agreed.
also need to look at how we're billing
Yeah.
now compared to what we had to bill
Okay.
for 20 years
Right.
ago.
And this
But-
is,
What's what you're asking for, you were on the board that decided how it's being done. So, I know it's not just you can't just see it in a fund.
Yeah, and I've been asking since then to find out how it is.
Okay.
Shelley
But it's
would not show me.
earmarked, it's truly earmarked for something. It's not like we need to reduce rates because it's not going to sewer projects. That's all I'm saying.
and all you're saying is you just wanna see it on the financial.
Yeah,
statement.
and it should be.
Yeah, see where it's at, because
And that's
if
what
we
we're-
don't know what like the sewer jar you were talking about, I mean, that should have come out of that.
Yeah, I agree.
Or
Okay.
You know,
And I think there is
and we're
money
gonna have to
for that.
replace with our INR, is that what, INR? The inflow, yeah. So we need, I mean, some of our pipes may need to be
Yeah.
relined or something like that.
We haven't done any televising projects for
Yeah.
years.
No, and their money's there.
Yeah, it's there, but how do we get to it, because we don't know where to earmark it.
Exactly.
Well, and has most of it gone towards debt obligation? It's possible.
So it's.
So it might not be there.
Progress is what
It might not be there, right.
But then,
So-
by
But
Danny
we'll
reaching
find out.
out to the auditor
Yep.
and the fact that she's utilizing part of a programming that hasn't been utilized before,
Right.
we can earmark that and try to drive that into there so that it's
Well,
something on
So
the
that we
line.
can see it, I
And we'll
agree.
talk about it in closed session, but
Yeah.
there's more about that.
Okay.
So,
Good.
and that's one of the things with this next part on our agenda that would help, bringing somebody from the outside that has experience in, to help align the accounts and make it so it's more visible and easier for everybody to see
Yeah.
what it is, so.
So no action's really needed on that.
Now, there's nothing, I mean.
No, there's nothing we can do right now.
We just want to talk about it, so we are all on the same page and know what we're asking for,
Good.
so. And you want to know where it was. You only gain where it's coded.
You wanna know where it is and what it's earmarked for.
Yep.
And you wanna see it monthly.
Yep, that's fair.
I'm into that.
Yep. So, let's go on to, number 7, discussion, action on proposal of public administrator associates regarding office staffing.
This is Jeffrey.
Yeah, that was,
Okay.
I've not gotten any more. He does have a lot of clerk experience. I was hoping to bring him in for maybe a day a week for the first month and then every other week for a month and just see where we're at. Just as an oversight and as a tool for these guys to be more successful.
So you're thinking what? Say that again.
I was thinking bringing him in once a week for a month, 4 times, and then every other week, till the end of the year.
And what are our expectations of them?
Well, the expectations is to, as a second set of eyes, to make sure things are being done in debt schedules and also help straighten out the accounting. And, it's $75 an hour and $25 per diem. So it'd be an 8-hour day times 75 times.
Are we running into problems that we didn't post this position? We didn't go
This is-
outside to
this
find a
is-
consultant, he's
yeah.
still
This is a
listed as
consultant.
This is, yeah, it's just a
that
consulting.
we didn't ask for any other.
It's within our, we don't have to do an RFP, it's under that amount, and it's an emergent, it's like hiring temporary help to get through something.
I understand that, but sometimes if you hire temporary help, there are certain things, hoops
Yeah.
you have to jump through to get that temporary help.
Yeah,
Isn't our limit 5,000 before something has to go out, or is it 20?
no, 25,000,
Okay.
Then we're good.
and only for certain things,
Yeah,
not for this type of stuff.
yeah.
So there's no RFP for this, so,
Have you spoke with him?
I have,
Okay.
and then, yeah, and I've spoke with so it's through this company,
Okay.
who does this, they do this, they're headhunters for this type of position, and they also have people, like this guy's semi-retired, and,
Yeah. Okay.
and if we're finding out it's not valuable, because we'll have to manage it, then we just stop it.
Yeah.
So, but I just thought it was a tool to help these guys succeed.
Instead of
So-
pay for it, basically,
Yeah.
the.
We don't know what we
it's-
need or
it's
how we
the
need it.
difference, it's what Shelley's salary that's.
Oh, yeah, it'll be
not-
cheaper than,
Yeah.
in the long run, probably, than
For the rest of
that,
the
by
year.
far, so.
Yep. And it's not a contracted, it's just on a consultant basis?
Yep,
We can-
whatever we want,
Okay.
if we want it, we can stop it at any time, there's no,
It's all at will.
yep, all
Yep.
it will.
The only thing I would say is instead of starting it once a week, would it be better to start more frequently and taper off?
I'm okay with that, I just, we don't know what we need, so,
Well, I think,
No
we
problem.
have defined that we want a different financial statement appearance, right? And I think he can help with that, and I think he might be able to help Danny use the civic program like like it should be used, right?
yeah.
Danny, would you be willing to have someone come in and show you those things and help you set those things up and,
Oh, yeah.
Right.
It's just,
And we've already talked about it,
Yeah.
so,
so
it's
how?
just, I don't know what I don't know. Kind
Right,
of thing, so it's
exactly.
nice to have
No,
that experience.
That's, I
Yeah.
just wanna make sure you're comfortable
yeah.
Yeah.
to stay in your position, so we don't lose that position and your position.
It's actually a tool to help these guys succeed.
This
It's
person's
not-
probably gonna wanna spend a few days just getting over.
Yeah,
it.
exactly, yeah.
So I'm fine.
Maybe do 2 or 3 days the first week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
I
To
would-
review the books.
Yeah. I would say like 3 days the first week, so they can get an overarching.
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
then, Like
okay.
2 days, 2 days, 2 days, 2 days, and then like 1 day a week.
Yeah.
I would say you need more time on the front end than,
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm good with that.
Agreed.
Whatever you guys are comfortable with.
Yep.
Is that a motion?
I guess I'll make a motion to approve the consultant for
Administration.
Public Administration Associates, for 3 days for the first week, 2 days per week for 4 weeks after that, and then 1 day a week after that is needed. At $75 an hour and $25 per diem.
Second.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Number 8, village garbage recycling fees. Scott?
Okay, folks, these, from what I can tell, and I don't know why this is coming up again, because we have the right to do this. They're calling us a political subdivision,
Who is?
is what, in the statute. Basically, what they're saying is that any fee is imposed by a political subdivision, which is what the Black Earth Board is, compared to the Dalai Lamas at the state level, shall bear a reasonable relationship to the service for which the fee is imposed. I think we established that. If it wasn't established enough, I did hand out tonight this piece of paper. And it basically, if anybody were to challenge this, it would have to be challenged by taxpayer and get together. I don't think this is a fair fee. But what we're doing, since we earmarked it, we want to implement the Black Earth Works Capital Expenditure Action Program, which is basically what we did by adding the additional fees on to our collection fees to help with capital improvements. And we can very much justify this under Public Works. It's garbage recycling, which relates to clean streets, which cheaper if nothing else. So,
I don't agree.
my question to Mitch was, who could or would
Yeah.
challenge us on it?
Well, I would challenge it if I don't think it's legal.
Why isn't it legal?
Well,
Should we put-
I'm okay with trying to go forward as is, but I'd like to run it through Bill Coyle, if we're gonna do that.
Every time you get another professional involved,
Well-
myriad of things
So
become
I don't
impossible
think
to
that we
do.
have to do anything.
The main article is a revenue stream,
Yep.
okay? But it's not saying a profit revenue stream. And if you read the statute, if you're doing a pass-through service, you're allowed to charge for like extra fees for like administrative and stuff, but you can't charge for it.
No, that's not how I read it.
That's not how I read it. A reasonable relationship means that the cost charged by a political subdivision for a service provided to a person may not exceed the political subdivision's reasonable direct cost
Direct cost.
associated with any activity undertaken by that political subdivision that is related to the fee.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, related to the fee, we've earmarked that for public works.
But you're making money.
No, you're
You're not
not.
charging,
You're not making money.
We're not, it's not income.
We're covering costs that
We're
are,
covering
we're
debt
covering
service.
costs that are
Covering debt
associated,
somewhere else.
we are covering costs that are
Or should
associated
we
with
just
the
have a
collection
party
of
with someone?
refuse, which includes street sweepers, because when you put trash out at a curb,
You're
you
gonna.
get trash in the street, and you have to pick it up so it
Yeah.
doesn't end up in our resources. So that's a valid justification.
It's a
That's a
valid
stretch.
That's a
strategy,
stretch.
valid
I think
point.
it's a stretch.
But the
I'm
direct
okay
to it
with
would be
going
the direct.
forward with it without changing it, but I think it should go through our legal.
I disagree. I think we should run with it the way we went and
No,
see
I
if someone
do too.
challenges it.
No. I'm not.
That's what the statute's set up. It's set up exactly like Pam said. If somebody wants to challenge it, that's fine.
I think we could,
Everything we do, it should be checked to make sure it's right.
You know we're gonna get told no because somebody else wants the
I
money.
disagree. I think he's gonna say, yes, this is
Well, I'm hoping
fine.
he does.
Yeah.
I'm hoping he does, but we gotta do our due diligence. you can't just say, hey, let's see where it goes, after something's been
I
brought
don't
up.
think that that's what we're doing.
I don't think that's what we're doing. I think we.
I think it is.
I see it as a CYA, you know, cover your ass.
Yeah.
I mean, with $100 to get them to look at it and tell us yes,
So
then.
I'd like to make a motion that we spend a couple hours on Bill Cole to just make sure we're doing it right. And,
I'll
see where it
second
goes.
that.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
So how many opposes?
Just three.
Pass. Gotta go to Bill Cole.
4-3.
Yeah, 4-3.
Can I get the dissenting names, please?
Pam, Scott.
Oh,
You
That would be
opposed?
Yeah, I opposed.
You opposed it going to Bill Cole, that means it doesn't.
Well, 'cause I think it's stupid to spend money
Then
on
it didn't
that.
pass.
And it did not pass,
Then it did not.
sorry.
So you don't even wanna make sure it's okay, it's just gonna go forward?
Hey, wait a
No,
minute.
I didn't want it in the first place.
It is
so
okay.
I already voted against it
Wait.
in the first place.
Right, but you're voting on something.
You're
No, yeah, okay.
Do we want the lawyer to check to make sure we can implement this, or do we just wanna go with
It
it?
may, if,
Well, I think it's stupid to spend money on that too. That's why
well, you're gonna spend a lot more by not doing that because
Yeah.
all it's going through.
yeah,
It's automatic.
then yes, I'll go for the lawyer then.
All right, so then it did not pass because he wants it to go to the lawyer.
Yeah.
So it passed,
Okay.
Bill Kofi passed.
So 4-3, Pam, Scott, Tyler dissenting, does not want it to go to legal.
Okay.
Everyone else wants it to go to legal.
Yes.
But I do object to the way you said that to him. He wasn't objecting to
He didn't understand.
having to cover his ass. He was dissenting that
Well,
we
Spending
read
more
it
money on
differently.
lawyers.
I'm not, I will cover
okay.
our ass, but I'm gonna dissent when I don't agree with how something reads like you
I don't think you should get a lawyer involved unless somebody challenges it.
Well, since I read the statute and I have questions, I challenge it, so, period.
There's that.
All right. Let's go on. Consideration motion to enter into closed session pursuant Wisconsin statute 19.85, parent 1, parent C, considering employment, promotion, compensation, and performance evaluation, data of any public employee which we have governing body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility. Roll call vote.
We don't have to do roll call.
Yeah.
To go in, you know.
I mean, we don't have to, but we can. All right,
First, I got to make a motion to go into closed session.
okay.
I'll make a motion.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Well, that's where you do the roll call.
Now you do the roll call.
Okay.
No? You have to have a motion to go into, yeah, now you do the roll call, I'm sorry.
So Mitch Hodson,
Yes.
James Coyle, Scott Patchin,
Yes?
Pam Louis-Reindl,
Yes.
Jared Brammerson,
Yes.
Terry Moyer,
Yes.
Tyler Munson.
Yes.
I'm going to. Alrighty. For 11?
Say you are being recorded.
I paused it.
Okay. All right. We don't have any, motions or anything rise from closed session, so we're gonna skip to 12, workshop on 2023 budget. This is things you found to cut? You're awesome.
Yeah, right.
Everything in red?
No, I am just putting a list in front of everybody of what Public Works kind of has fallen behind on over many, many years. Obviously, I know we're not gonna get all of this, but it's just something in the next few years we need to start
If we
addressing.
don't go after.
Now, this is
House would be nice.
This is in the budget now, right?
What's up?
This is in the budget now?
Well, we haven't done anything with water or sewer. Shelley never did anything, and.
Yeah, but the general budget I'm talking about.
Is this on your wish list now, in the budget?
No.
Some of it
So this
is.
is above and beyond what you're already asking for?
No, some of it's in there.
Some of it is in there.
Some of it is in there. All right. One thing I'll say is, I don't know, our police budget, you haven't changed that, right? What our projected is? So our projected police budget is not gonna be correct, because Joe Parisi decided that it's gonna be a 9% increase for Dane County Sheriff's Department, and all support services. So that really means there's another, the Dane County Sheriff, instead of a 6%, which we calculated, is 15%.
Well, let's get rid of them, just have first responders. EMS and fire.
Or go down to one cop. As we've been doing.
So I don't know what that number does, because we haven't got anything official yet. But it's coming. Did you see that email or not? And that was from
Okay, so tell me that again. Joe Parisi, the Dane County, not Joe, whatever.
Dane County plan on 6%.
Dane County is giving what?
They were planning, when they gave us budget numbers, I think it was at 6%.
Yep. And they went to 9.
Now it's going to 9, but if you also, that also includes support services and stuff, so it's not 9% of just our officers, it's 9% of everything.
When did they give us that 6%?
It was
Early
September. Yeah, it was before, September probably.
It's October, and it's
Yeah.
up 3%, just
Well,
like that.
But we knew it was it could jump.
That it could jump.
Yeah,
They did tell us.
but if you really add it up, I think it's more like a 15%. Because support services and everything's going up.
And there's changes to longevity, so the longevity bonus. Every single level.
So really what they're doing is trying to pass it along. Well, and they're trying to get more help.
Yeah, because they don't have
Because
enough.
they're screaming for help too, just
Yeah.
like everybody else is screaming
Yeah.
for help.
So, I believe we keep our police budget where it's at, and then, you know, if we have to shift it, we ask them to do road days like they did last year.
Yeah.
Like, we could touch base with Captain. So, based upon where that comes in, because right now, we took off Michelle's wages and didn't increase to the full amount anyways for the police.
So I was gonna ask to do that with, what'd we do with Michelle's wages? We just took
We
those
carried them
off?
over from this year to take down their budget for next year. Police portion.
Okay, so you're saying instead of taking it down, just leave it?
Yep, leave it where it's at, not increase it based upon this extra.
Okay.
That's what, 2022 is budgeted 472, right? 2023, it's down 24,000 then, to
Yeah.
448 budgeted, and the carryover is 10, is what's expected.
Oh, carryover was more than that, wasn't it?
85. We'll finish under budget at 85.
Let's see.
Police, expense contract. If you look over into the green,
Yeah.
it's, will be under budget, under 22
Okay.
budget.
I see. I see what you're saying now. So 448 plus 85, probably where we need to be with the anticipated.
Where are you getting that 448 number?
Proposed
The proposed total, the total proposed to 2023, the bottom of the page.
230, oh, you're looking at,
Yeah.
okay,
Looking at like the
just
entire
the
public
contract
safety.
though is what's,
Yeah,
Yeah, just the contract.
oh, I see what you're saying.
yeah, you
Okay.
can't be,
Yeah,
the other numbers
yeah,
don't
yeah,
count.
yeah,
Almost
okay.
$500,000.
Yep. I think their projected this year was what, 315,000?
yeah, but you can't do it
But you know, I just don't think that we have a whole lot of wiggle room there, do we?
Well, we take the 85 off the 315, and that's what the police number should be.
It'd be 100,000, next year.
And,
I mean, if it's a 15% increase from last year and that budget was gonna be the same.
Well, I think
15%,
that,
298.
at that point, we ask them to take
Oh,
off
take
days
some,
into the county like they've been doing, to help compensate for that extra.
do we get to pick those days then?
No.
We don't
I
pay
mean,
for those days.
'cause
We don't pay for them, but we don't get to pick them.
We don't get to pick them either.
You know, I mean, if we're gonna pick them, we're gonna pick them during the week and
Well,
not,
right now,
and
they
not
can
on
take our
meeting
cop
weekend.
anyways, so, and
Yeah.
not, and still, you know, I mean, wouldn't charge us, but,
Unless we have
no,
an event.
no.
Well, and police is looking at that,
Even if
right?
we have field
That-
days.
that's-
We're checking on that, but
Yeah.
right now, they can take them anytime.
Right. Yeah, right now they can take them anytime.
Isn't that what happened at field days? They tried to.
Yeah.
You know, they
Yeah.
want to come in and remove officers.
So,
It's just
above and beyond that, let's just talk about money for that.
Yeah,
So, it should be, I think we take the 315K and drop it by 84,000, and that's our.
By 84?
or 85.
85.
85,000, I'm sorry.
Okay. Which is the 230 that you have.
Right.
The proposed.
Yeah, and they're gonna have to help us with it.
Yeah.
That's just all there is to it.
We still have to pay months of the new guy, for a month and a half.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of projected, isn't it?
Out of here too, so,
Yeah.
we gotta, I mean, we can't take all 85.
Hmm.
I would,
Be more days off next year.
I think we should.
And the new guy will have not as much, I mean, he won't be at the same level as what Michelle was, because of she is.
Right.
Rate
here,
difference,
newly
and
in
so
the-
his pay rate's not the same, his
Huge difference.
benefits aren't the same.
And he's not here yet.
Right, I think we should leave it.
Maybe two.
You got that?
230?
Yep.
So we're just cutting the.
But that doesn't help us because that's still part of the proposed budget, as that is, so.
And how much was it cut?
194.
I don't think the village hall needs a new water softener, and it's a joke.
It doesn't work.
Don't need soft water.
Right? You just heard enough, dude.
Just say it's not
It was a joke.
I'd have to throw a toilet out there too, Danny's been running toilets since having an issue, 23 years old.
Say that again, what? You might have to what?
Put a toilet into that as
So
well.
after the meeting, if you'd like to go
one
collect
in
the
my
women's
pool, in my
toilet.
pool stuff that I will
We got
donate,
buckets down at the shop too.
right? You just put a seat on it, you're good to go.
Sure,
When the
I'll
pickle
show a
buckets, that'd be so.
Now,
So you're
depending
state
on-
senator, we're all sitting in pickle buckets.
Some days I feel like I'm sitting in a pickle bucket now.
Obviously, we don't have our substation numbers yet, but, depending on how that goes and where that comes in, since we have a transformer purchased and being redone now, and we have our regulators, we may want to refinance our debt for our substation for now, and extend it a little bit for the transformer and that, and pay the rest back. And not continue until things change, until we have more of a handle on.
Until you,
didn't we lock in a
Especially
really,
if
really
there's
good
gonna be
interest rate on that
We
though?
did, but you can't, you'd have to refinance it if you're gonna, or use it for, you can't just use it for something else.
Yeah, no, we can't, yeah, you can't
Yeah.
take it, but I'm saying if,
You have to spend it within a certain amount of time too. Right now, there's not enough money in there to finish the substation by $100,000 and some thousand. So, you have to come up with that money too. So, I've talked to Sean about this, he's comfortable with it.
He's comfortable with not refinancing and just grabbing the money and finishing it.
No, he's comfortable with not pursuing it until later, until it's more feasible, as long as the right, you know, because the transformer's here, and we've got a backup plan.
Okay.
I'd
So-
have
You'd be down for a little bit, you have swap out time though.
You'd have swap out time, but, yep, so,
Okay.
That's swap out time. Hours.
Minimal compared,
Yeah.
Yep.
so,
Yeah.
and then, you know, and we just, so, the money came out of investments, we actually put it back in for another 2 months, 90
So,
days.
we'll have another maturity coming in December 1st of 400,000, so,
That gives us time to get our utility thoughts in progress, and then know exactly where we're at, and then we decide what to do. So, we just reinvested it for now.
How much have we invested in that whole substation project so far to date, that's like
400
engineering
something.
and,
I think the substation, or the transformer was, oh, you mean as far as the engineering?
Yeah, like engineering plans, looking into things like
That
stuff
doesn't
like
have
that.
to change, I mean, they'll still be there when we go back to it.
But if we don't go back to it within a year, 2 years, permit times change, permits have,
Yeah, which
You
we
know,
don't have yet anyways, because.
but that's what I'm saying, have we done that?
There's no
Have-
permits or anything, because we have not.
Has anybody
made
put
it
time
to
into that or
point yet.
anything like that, okay?
So,
Nothing with the TSC.
no, very minimal money at this point. So it's actually, if we're gonna do it, it's the right time to do it. But,
My-
we
my
don't know,
one-
maybe our outlook will be so good that we'll wanna do two of them.
I mean, my fear is we all know what happens with material costs, labor costs, like, we shouldn't go down that route thinking we're gonna get a better deal or a better rate down the road.
No, but you might be in a better financial situation.
Yeah.
This would be.
Or maybe not.
Or maybe not. We'll decide with that once we get our hands around it, but that's options on the table just for people to think about. All right, where are the big increases? Yeah, so EMS,
Yeah. I can't really
We
do much
blame
about
you,
that,
Jared.
yeah. That one, it is what it is, we want medical services, and it's otherwise, the option was to shut down. So, shut down, shouldn't say shut down, I should say,
Merge.
non-operational days.
Blackout days?
Blackout days. Basically, there's nobody on call for the district, and
Don't get sick on,
if you
don't
call
die on heart attack
911,
on
you gotta
Monday.
wait for somebody from like Middleton, and if Middleton's out on a call already, then you have to wait for that call to be done before they'll come to you. So, we already had at least a dozen of those days this year. They went under the radar, nobody really knew, but if we
You don't know.
didn't.
Pam's ambulatory services, so.
I am sure
Yeah.
I didn't have a heart attack on that day.
Yeah. I will say some of the
well,
good
you,
news.
you still, you might get you probably.
Have you met Arena?
What, you
I
might-
don't want Arena coming to me. Oh, sorry.
So one of,
It's a joke.
yeah, one of the good news out of the bad, I guess, is it does sound like, due to some staff changes, some volunteers might be coming back, which will help kind of offset that budget, because that's where that's coming from, is we're having to pay people full-time versus having volunteers. So there is rumor that some of those volunteers might be coming back.
So that went from 14,000 to 58,000. EMS did.
29, it was 29 last year.
Was it?
Yeah, it was like 12 or 14 the year before, and then
22,
basically doubled.
Black Earth portion, 14,627.
No, it's
Column H.
Oh, quarterly, last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
well, we can't take money from them, right? We can't.
Nope,
No.
Can't.
you're not going backwards in time, it's only.
No, it's only
Yeah,
gonna get worse,
that's been passed already.
so that's a given.
And that's the official final, that's the number.
Yep,
That's
Far,
what,
yeah, as far as I'm
that's what
aware, yeah.
that's what I gathered from it, so I can update,
Yeah.
I don't think that number is exact, so. Beat, so, update.
Well, I don't see how we can survive, EMS can survive without us going to referendum on it.
I
It
agree.
won't.
I mean, that's it. You have to tell the people, you're either gonna have blackout days, we just have to be upfront and say, we need a referendum, we need your approval to tax you more dollars for your services, and that's bottom line.
I think at that same point, we also, really exploit the need for volunteerism. Because it's not just blackout days because they don't have the money, it's because they don't have the volunteers.
Yeah, the
just
volunteers.
don't, everybody around us, Cross Plains went through this a couple years ago, Arena's gone through it, I mean, they have a lot of LTs in Arena that hire, and full-timers. Cross Plains is all full-time,
And still lots of signs for volunteers needed in hospital.
yep.
Yeah, we've lost, I don't know what the number is, but it's 20, 30 volunteers this year alone.
And senior,
Senior,
a
yeah.
lot of experience
Yeah.
went out the door with them.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of medical students moved on this year too, and
Yeah.
things like that. Some people retired because they're,
Some of them had babies and
yep.
Other job opportunities.
Took off for a minute, yeah.
There's a lot of reasons.
And part of the reason is too, I mean, it's harder recruiting nowadays too, because they've made it longer and harder to do it. So,
Yeah.
you know, it went from 180 to 280 hours, and it went from $1,200 to $2,000.
And then you have to spend two of your 2-3 nights in, you know, downtown Madison when you're coming from, you know, Maysville or
That's,
Blackbird.
you know, the teachers should be coming to us.
Yeah.
They used to, but MATC is not very accommodating anymore.
there is a really good online,
Yep. Our tax dollars pay for MATC to do it.
that is a discussion for a different time.
Yes, it is.
So where do we don't even have any
Numbers to pull.
position, any spot where we can cut money.
Well,
You have an idea.
no, not great ideas.
Well, none of your ideas are great, but we always listen to them. I'm just yanking your chain.
You're just full of it tonight, Pam.
I am. It's been a long day.
It has.
Terry? Thoughts? Mr. Patchin, thoughts?
I don't,
Matt, street maintenance that's contracted, is that crack filling?
Crack filling, chip sealing, for some reason Shelley threw like any stormwater works, electrical ditch, maintenance contract. I'm not sure why it was done that way, but.
And then street lighting utilities, that's just what it runs to, okay. And sidewalk maintenance construction, that's all.
The sidewalk maintenance construction, you can see, did go up. One of the reasons was for over by Village Family Metals. There's a lot of broken up areas. There's residents that have some issues. They're looking to repair their driveway next year, wondering if. And
it is awful over there. That is just
Yeah.
awful.
Yeah.
That whole street is awful.
Which street?
so just,
I just
different
put down a lot
between,
there,
yeah.
between them and the Children's Museum.
And then we just got sidewalks that have the trip hazards and such like that. I did have some sidewalks done last week. And I'm staying with $1,200.
Question?
But we do it every year.
So why, let's see,
So what number, if we take
well,
the 22 budget, what else do we need? How much do we still need? Take the 22 budget, and then we add on the EMS, the 23 proposed, and whatever else we have to add on.
EMS is already added, I thought. It was at 60, so we're actually like
I know with the proposed budget, but how much, okay, so we need
I got,
190 off the proposed budget?
Yeah, 194.
I got a
Levy
question.
limit allows for 600,777. We are 194,700 over.
Just
So we have
under streets, you got $130,000 there, and I'm just gonna throw it out, see what Matt thinks about it.
I didn't catch that, sorry.
Just on the streets next year, we got $30,000, right? Crack fill, manholes, chip seal, Red Hawk, curb and gutter repairs and sidewalks, you
Well, I
know.
got a question.
If we put that on deferred maintenance, that's $130,000.
Is that this,
That's what he wants?
yeah.
I
So,
hate deferred
why are we, where do we show, so refuge, if we're billing for it throughout the year, why is that part of our budget? I mean, that's part of the budget, but why is that why does that go towards our
Right.
general obligation?
It would show as,
Where does it show up as
there's
income?
a revenue and a.
Yeah, where's the revenue for that? I didn't see it, so that's why I'm asking. Maybe it's there, maybe I just missed it.
what, we have $10,000 in legal fees. And I know it's like probably nitpicking, throwing them, you know, right? But 10,000, do we consult
Well,
with them $10,000 worth?
We've been pretty good right, this year, where are we at? What percentage?
Well, we gotta be close with
Could be.
Mitch, refuse charges line one revenue on the very first page, $108,000.
Okay, so there it is. Yeah,
So Public Works just looked at capital expenditures and equipment and didn't do anything with streets, sewers, jetting, sidewalks, anything like that. There's an awful lot of money there if we waited a year.
But isn't there a plan to do some street, like, replacement or repair or something like
Right.
that?
Red Hawk set up for
Yeah,
it.
we'd like to do some crack filling, chip sealing.
Rent purchase finance.
Out of that.
$130 is on the sheet that Mac.
But there was one on like Hill Street or something, there was gonna be a section redone or curb and gutter or something.
There's no Hillview, or sorry, Hillside is
So this
out
makes
right
up
now
what he's got in here? I thought it said he did put it denied.
Out for grants applied for, funding and stuff like that. That's nothing in here. So,
Is the street one on this budget, or was this an extra, 130? So the one that Scott's talking about is the 130.
30 you've
crack
got for
fill,
crack
curb and
fill.
gutter and stuff. Is that already in the proposed budget, or is that an addition to the proposed budget?
No, that was worked in, Shelley
Okay.
worked some of that into this. And she, like I said, was only able to, so what she had worked in for the street maintenance contracted.
What's 75?
130,
Oh, yeah,
75, yeah.
okay.
Oh, okay,
So she took your 130 and put
Yeah.
75 in the proposed budget.
okay. So if we
Yeah,
did,
it was kind of basically, I would give her a list, and she would just plug and play numbers, you know, kind of what I understand from prior years. With everything, so.
so if we did what Scott's talking about doing, we're actually only looking at, removing 75,000, not 130,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is a big chunk of the 194,000.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's still
there.
significant, yeah.
Yeah, if you do zero street maintenance, zero stormwater maintenance, I mean, that just throws you back deeper in the hole.
Yeah, I was gonna say, could we go a year without that?
How many years you went without it already?
How many years have we gone already without stuff, you know?
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
I
What are we at,
There
five
is-
streets that don't have curb and gutter still?
Right, yep. Yeah, I got a video of, over the weekend, someone was playing with their kids in the street, and they're actually ripping the asphalt out. I said, hey, there's cold patch down the shop, why don't you guys go ahead and fill that back in? So, it's just, some of these streets are getting pretty poor, we've had phone calls on streets, so.
So the sidewalk maintenance construction is at 30,000?
I think there's 30,000 in there for reeval. That can drop, you could do half next year and half the year after.
I mean,
15,000 you could cut.
We're gonna pay somebody $30,000 to evaluate our sidewalks?
No,
No,
reevaluate
no, that is to
our taxes.
construction. What do we have for construction
We're at
going? Do we
68%.
know? Do we have
We're gonna be
confirmed
required to do
construction?
a reeval.
Let's do the whole
We
thing.
don't have anything confirmed.
We don't have any.
Let's not do it one year,
So we're
one
looking
year,
at-
let's do the
No,
whole.
I think you could split the payments over.
Okay, wait a minute.
Oh.
This
Are
is
you
sidewalk
talking assessor fees?
construction and maintenance.
Assessors.
Yeah,
Are you
okay,
telling
that's
me we need $30,000 worth of maintenance on our sidewalks in the village of Black Earth?
Sidewalks.
I'd say
gutters. So if you wanna take, yeah, you wanna take 15 grand of that, 20 grand of it, that's fine, but I know you guys still got a lot more to cut, and then it's just pushing, you know, trip hazards and stuff like that, so I mean, it's kind of a reason for the sidewalks is liability, is to try to save our butts on that.
Our big thing is safety, and anything that needs to be done, and the safety of the public would be number one, you know.
What is the hydrant rental public fire? $100,000?
That's income, that's income.
Oh, did I hit a nerve? Sorry.
No, because
just how-
we've already moved half of it over to our, instead of paying it on your taxes, you pay it monthly on your
Oh,
utility bill.
okay.
And we've already moved half of it, so the next half will eventually, it won't help us this year because we can't do it,
Right.
but next
Okay.
year it would, if.
But it's something you used to pay for out of your, just in your taxes.
Yeah.
And they wanted a way to have more revenue, so they
So you're
kept the same
taking
amount
it,
of levy, and they transferred some money over.
You're taking it out of your left pocket and putting it in your
Your
right,
right.
and that makes our budget
No.
balance?
You're taking it out of your left pocket and then taking more out of your left pocket.
I mean,
What about, this assessor piece, it looks like split it out over 2 years, 15,000, I know it's still kicking the can, but.
That's what I said. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I already
Yeah.
said that.
But to bring us to 100% valuation would help us out
No,
at this point. We're at 68%?
it's based on your last year's levy. That's 2%. Now, new construction helps, but not old housing. Your mill rate changes, that's it.
Right.
Right?
all right, so,
And Parks is requesting 25 grand.
Mhm.
for what?
If you're assessed higher.
Remind us
your
again.
mill rate.
Ball fields, basketball courts, tennis courts, like recreational things within the village, basically.
Increase.
And what do they have,
Regardless.
do they have carryover? I'm sorry, you spent everything?
Yeah, our
Yeah,
budget
it's a little
last year was
maintenance
like
stuff.
46,000.
There isn't much for parks anyways.
Yeah, it was real low last year.
Goes for borrowing, helps.
Yeah, I mean, I would really like to have that
I
money
could
in parks, but understand that we can't always get what we want.
Right, and that might be one of the first cuts, 'cause,
Yep.
yeah. So,
So where are you guys?
I mean, I would,
Levy limit is based
to
on
that
levy
point,
year.
you know, we talked about the liability and safety of sidewalks.
Mhm.
The
Construction
ballpark
doesn't do that, though.
is,
The
I
more new
mean,
construction, the more that helps.
Tearing up uniforms, it's gonna be.
it's not just tearing up uniforms, it's tearing up flesh.
Right.
So where do you guys
I mean,
sit?
people tried to make that same argument, kids tried to make the same argument of needing something that was safe for the theater department, and that got shot down.
Mhm.
So there would be some probably backlash if the ballpark got done, but
okay, so we have other groups using the ballpark, what are they putting into it? I mean, home talent, I'm a huge home talent supporter,
Mhm.
however, I know that they run the lines, they maintain it, but they also, you know, work.
does that.
Huh?
Home talent does not do that.
They don't do any of that?
That's
Bill
village.
Chiaminetti volunteers all the time to do all the maintenance. I gave Shelley, not an invoice, but a list of materials, what was used for Wisconsin Heights High School. Mosley gave that to Jordanson, I don't know where that went. Meaning, I'm not sure where it's at, did they ever pay us or not?
Right,
There should have been a list for the youth softball, was given. That is.
okay, so I'm totally.
So basically, the same thing with Bombers, sorry, they had a list made up as well, but I know Bombers, you know, like, they'll buy the windscreen, they will
Yeah.
do some stuff, you know, they just put in that shed down there was painted. That was kind of their deal, though, I understand, so they do some things, I don't have any amount of how much do they do down there.
They've given a list a couple of years ago that, of money they've spent.
And they put lights in, I know they put lights, they did some things with the lights, I know Rod was down there doing whatever.
Yeah.
And I know that they did some stuff with the speaker system, and they're
That we
still
did.
working on the speaking,
They did it,
well, meh,
the sound system when they had to replace that.
parts of it, yeah. So,
So,
do we,
I know with ARPA's, I think Parks was designated, was it 60,000?
the
Somewhere
ARPA,
around there, ARPA. Is there any other funds, or is there any other, like, we're all looking for stuff right now because we're left on nothing? Is there money that's earmarked somewhere, like,
Just hanging out.
just hanging out? Is there funds hanging out that we don't know about somewhere? I don't know.
so that's the goal.
Yeah, that's. Oh, we have, as far as like equipment, you know, we had a couple things sold, that were $30,000, and I know there is earmarks for that. I don't know if you have accessibility to that, but I know where.
It's gone.
That's gone. I know at one time, I was told by Shelley, we had, say, $150,000 sitting aside from ARPA, equipment sold, I think there was like 30,000 in the sewer.
I
It's
know
all
there's some, like,
totaled up to
sidewalk fund.
150,000. What is it?
I thought there was some sidewalk fund too that was had.
Yep, I think there was something like
FEMA
sidewalk
money or
fund.
something too.
So that's part, and I don't have it with, so that's all showing in our monthly treasurer's report, those funds are, when the village has this.
From last
Yeah, it is.
No, I don't think, there is some stuff.
It's all showing there, it's in a fund in that, it's there.
Okay. Well, so Jared brought up a good point, there's FEMA money that was earmarked for this roof. I know you guys aren't doing the roof, where did those funds go?
I didn't know there was FEMA money.
Yeah, there's like 30 grand or something like
That
that.
was fire station.
That was
I
fire
just
station.
Building
we
didn't have
got it.
damage.
Well, from what Shelley
There
told
was
me,
FEMA money from the parks.
yeah.
Oh, Shelley had that,
Then I don't know, that was before my
Shelley had
time.
that pin for this roof. I don't know how that works out.
Yeah, there was
Money
something.
on the-
But some of the FEMA money, what you had for it, you were required to use it for a certain thing.
What, for a village office roof, when it paid for?
Yeah, see, that's what I mean, that's kind of weird to me.
There was,
Okay.
yeah,
Right,
So
so
you got something, perfect. Thank you, Jared.
and then it was just a conversation over the phone with, Shelley before she left, but
Right.
there's supposedly somewhere, there's $60,000 from FEMA that got stashed in the park because it was part of the flood. And it needs to go to the roof, quote unquote, needs to go to the roof.
But it can't go through.
Well, I don't know if it can or not, I don't know.
Right.
But them, I'm just talking about the fire station stuff, whatever.
Yeah, so I don't know where that 60,000 that she was talking about is that. It was supposedly in.
That was all the FEMA money from the flood,
That was all of it.
all of it.
Okay, so I don't know where that is, though, that's what I'm saying.
We can
That's all
find out.
they paid was
Yeah.
60,000.
Yeah.
It was supposed to go to the park, was supposed to get,
They
So
were,
much
they were
money
gonna give
because
us
we
175,000
spent so
to
much
fix,
money in the park,
yeah.
and then all of a sudden,
I think there might be one payment for that coming in yet,
I don't
No,
think there is.
because they renegotiated, not too long ago and added on. Fire station still got more money coming too.
okay, because I know when I was on the board, she said that we had like 100, she thought that FEMA was gonna give us 100.
Yeah, she didn't get that.
When they
For
first
that
thought
park.
it, no, that money did not come in.
No,
Unless she was talking about the fire department and the park.
no, no.
Well,
Yeah.
So I guess we
No,
gotta
that's
figure
what
out where
everybody was
that,
told when that park, was building that park.
60,000.
exactly, because I don't think that, and we need to know if it's
We have,
supposed to be designated somewhere. Because if it's
Yeah.
supposed to be designated as a park, it's gotta go there, but if
Yeah,
it's
right.
not,
Treasurer reports, I don't think.
then it
show-
needs to.
No, but it's in.
If you take stormwater and streets and defer them, you've got over $200,000.
I'm not having a whole lot.
You just put it on hold for a year.
What if we raise our rates? What if we raise our permit fees for housing? For houses? Can we raise,
Wrap it into this review.
The risk with deferred maintenance though is
It's 1 year.
more cost down the road.
I know.
1 year plus all the years we've already done it.
right, which every single year we say, yep, it's only 1 year. I remember being, and we were just saying, yep, it's 1 more year, we'll just try to get
And
this
it's-
balance, and then we'll figure it out.
Don't fix the manhole that's off level and then it's a plow that gets busted and then
When we
it's
need to really
Yeah,
raise
no,
our voices to our state representatives,
And that's why
because we need the money for these things.
It's not that we.
I agree with that,
Right,
and I think that we need to do that with the free EMS levy.
It's all that type of money.
And maybe we should invite our newly elected officials to come down do a walkthrough with us and show them what we need. I'm not opposed to bringing in somebody that, an assembly person and saying, these are honest to God things that need to happen and
Will
we
they
don't have
come?
any money.
Will they come?
Probably not.
They'll come with their TV crews and their representatives long enough to do the walkthrough and say, yes, this is why we're doing this, and it's done.
Matt, what's the 40,000 for purchase of equipment?
Just trying to get some new stuff, helping out with sweeper, sewer gutter,
Yeah, but we have that type of money was ARPA, which is in that other
Right.
fund.
lawnmower, trying to get a new lawnmower with
Yeah,
kind of.
do we have to have a new lawnmower this year?
We don't have to, but we got, this one, we've gone through a couple sets of tires and steer bars and
Yeah, well, that-
Carl did warranty that last time, but how long are they gonna warranty it for the couple times it's happened?
We need
We
to
got
keep
trucks
new
that are-
mowers every year.
Right, we got trucks that are starting to show rust in the wheel wells and stuff.
Now, if we had just Veterans Park, no, we've got a lot more than that to mow.
Right, yeah, really it's about 25 hours a week for mowing.
I understand, we just, it's gotta cut somewhere. I mean, we need a rough on the well station, do we need a?
Right, so
rough-
we're just talking general right now, so how much money am I gonna get to do water,
Right.
sewer and stuff like that, I mean.
And I do believe that we have to really look at the sewer and water and stuff, and see some of this could be funded out of some of that.
Right, so like with the
I don't know.
treasurer's report right now, I think we're sitting 500,000 on cash, is that?
That's not part of, that's what I'm talking about. The money she shows in the treasury's report, I gotta.
It's not true.
It's not true, yeah,
Yeah.
it's not,
It's not true. We've already discussed that it's not true.
Okay.
so we don't know. But yes, there should be enough.
Yes. Now, I do know in the general cash fund is where ARPA is, and it's also where your sale of your lawnmower from before and all that, that's part of the general cash. So when you take that away, that goes from the general, and it's where it should be. It's just not itemized. I think if you go in and break down the general, it is itemized somewhere, actually. Thought I've seen it.
So,
Yeah, it is.
with the new equipment purchases, going to cut that.
No, I don't wanna
I
do
did
that.
see that Shelley had boosted the maintenance of vehicles up. We can get dump body spray, we can keep fixing equipment. Because at one point, how much we keep fixing stuff, that's worth nothing.
On the last,
But I know we gotta make cuts. and
where's the
I'm
last
here
two
to
trucks
work-
on loan?
Yeah, every vehicle we bought is always wrapped in with a street project or
That's what I
something
thought,
like
yeah.
that, they're always on a loan. I don't know why we've never just gone to Ford and said, hey, we need to buy a $60,000 truck, why can't we get a loan through that dealership or through something like that?
I
That,
agree.
I don't have those answers, I would definitely be more than willing to look into it.
Usually the
Ford-
interest is higher than the
Correct, but like with Ford, they do something called municipal lease, so say if you needed 2 vehicles, they'll break that up over a 3-year
And
period. So
maybe we should be leasing.
But, okay, so municipal lease is basically, so like you get a municipality that, okay, we need to buy 3 squad cars right now, and we can't do it over a 6-year period, we need to do it right now, they're gonna break that out. So there is some things we can look into that would help us out
Or
in
you could
that
buy a
aspect.
truck with a $1 buyout lease.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, so, and I don't know how that works, so when you're putting on strobe lights, plow equipment, you know, stuff like that, it might get a little sketchy,
Yeah.
but. So, yeah, I'm here to work with you guys, you know, we can take a little bit out of the streets.
Street lighting,
Yeah.
utilities.
That is,
I was gonna say, that's.
How long has it been since?
Is that a set? That's we can't touch that?
okay, hold on. Scott, give me a second for your question. Okay, what was your stance
How
on
long
streets?
have we put off Red Hawk crack filling and chip seal?
Red Hawk has never been chip sealed, and that was pavement was put down in 2005. Crack filling, we had some cracks filled 2020 up there. I believe some again, you know, every year you kind
So
of develop more cracks.
it's time to do the chip seal and get it done.
Yep.
And that portion is 75,000? It's all going in Red Hawk?
That would just be to do chip sealing in Red Hawk. That was with this fall.
Oops, sorry.
This fall's like proposed, like, it's gonna be ish. Obviously, we don't know what fuel prices are gonna be next year, so that 75,000 to chip seal, that could totally change. And we can put that off one more year and try to do some of the smaller streets. So that's, like I said, 75,000 in the street maintenance contracted. That was, street maintenance contract is streets, chip sealing, crack filling, and for some reason Shelley had been pulling out stormwater projects, like Prells. That, I guess, couldn't fall under street maintenance contract because stormwater is run off of the streets. And she never had storm, she never had storm maintenance,
Should we
Have
have
we
that?
done anything?
Probably should.
Yeah.
Since the flood in 2018, did we isolate, or did we,
Nothing has been done on Black Earth Creek.
not Black Earth Creek, I'm just, for streets and stuff, the streets that were flooded during the 2018 flood, was it discussed about those potentially having any effects from the flood, like if water gets in the subbase or something like that, and it causes it to not be
There's
able
a
to?
lot of.
Those were looked at.
Yeah.
They
They
were
were all
looked at.
evaluated,
Those were evaluated.
Yeah,
I just didn't know if it made sense to
because there was
focus-
FEMA money
focus-
involved with that.
Yeah.
So, some of the streets that were flooded, Canal, Blue Mounds, South Street, kind of everything down by the shop, that was something we did chip seal this year.
Yeah.
Was the problems because of flooding? I don't think so, I think it's just because the pavement on theirs.
I'd say
just
it's
had that age.
Yeah.
Yep, so we did,
but I know Mill Street was evaluated, right?
Mill Street.
Wasn't Mill Street evaluated, Center Street, and they was evaluated,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, but Mill Street, we wouldn't be on the hook for, right, that's state
Well,
highway, they have to do
But
that.
we'd have to do
We would have to do some portion of that, but I know they did come
Take care
up.
of the driving lanes, we'd be responsible for parking areas, stuff like that.
So I have a question about the carryover 2022 funds plus.
You got a
For the
question
park.
first about street light
Yeah.
utilities.
Yes, I did,
It
sorry.
seems very low to date on budget right now for 2022.
Right, and that's not a me thing, that's, I think, just what.
That's, okay, that's just a thing.
Whatever our cost is to have the streetlights lit, I'm assuming, is what that there for.
Okay.
That's
I was
ideal.
I was wondering if, like, did we switch to LEDs or something that caused it to be so much lower than in past years? It looks very low.
Well, the Christmas
They have
lights aren't out
changed
yet.
over,
Yeah, that's been a while.
yeah, I mean, it wouldn't.
Yeah, it wasn't like just this year.
Which one's that at?
Street lighting utilities, like 2020, 2021, every year it's right around 24, 25, 6,000. So far to year date, we're at 13.8, and we budgeted 25. I would find it hard, I don't know, I know the nights get longer in the winter, but
Another 10,000 over a couple months.
it seems like
Right,
somehow we're
Well-
ahead on that this year. So do we need to have 25,000 budgeted for it? Like, that's what I'm wondering, if we think there's gonna be that.
Be interesting to see what that is.
It's only 5, like, I would say maybe we could lower that to 20. Okay,
Yeah,
so
but
we gained
I
5,000.
wonder what that whole fee is, right?
Yeah,
Because
I'll look at
you
the-
can't, you don't meter streetlight
Yeah.
usage. It's
No,
based
yeah.
upon your,
Yep, so.
but then
at
it's
one time
charged
there
back to everybody.
Right, at one time there was meters on certain streetlights in town, but now I believe it's just a general calculation done by, I'm guessing, whoever the contractor is that sells that streetlight says, okay, in this region, this is the estimated usage of that streetlight. And if you have 17 of those.
Do we
lights in
budget for
town-
that, or is that just added onto in the calculations for the bills to everybody in the month, for the PCAs?
So that's not
Okay.
a me question, sorry. I don't know how.
It'd be
that
interesting.
calculation was ever figured from.
We should probably look at that eventually.
Just doing some rough math on that, looks like, you know, if we stay on trend, you know, we'd end year around 18,500. If we stay on trend with, you know, assuming that the last 9 months, you know, on, was that 6,000 over? Our budget is currently set for.
So take it to 20 and save us
I
5.
would say,
So is that just,
that would, I mean, it's small, but it's something,
It's something.
would be my guess.
Let's do that.
is that actually, so the street light utility, is that just paying for the utility lighting bill, or is actually that something to do with maintenance? You know,
Vanguard bill?
Sean had, I guess, you know, we replaced a couple streetlights last year on Mill Street, and is that more of maintenance, you know, replacing those lights?
I'll have to.
how much
Okay,
room do
yeah,
we have
that's-
with the library? What? How much room do we have with the library?
Oh, there's Bailey right there.
Bailey, really, how much room do we have with your budget?
Not that much, I scaled it back a lot. The only big difference is the architect fees, which I'm willing to talk more about.
Can I ask,
That was my first question.
But I think that's the only, like, big ask that we have. Everything else is really just maintenance level.
well, we're at the end of September, and in books you spent 63, but you're 57 down. Right? Are you gonna spend it in the next few months? Do you have carryover?
Yes,
I
we
mean,
will
I
have
know that's not-
carryover. I factored that into many of the line items, but, I will say that even already in October, with book vendor visits that we've had, we've probably spent close to $1,000. So,
Did you need to? You need to.
Well, they'd reference taking 5,000 out of the one,
Street lighting.
street lighting, taking it to 20.
Why the decrease on periodicals opposed to books? Are you just seeing, is there like less interest in periodicals, basically?
not less interest, but, a lot of periodicals are going digital only, and so they aren't offering print subscriptions anymore, so we're getting a lot of, either subscriptions that are kind of canceled early, that we're getting refunds, or, subscriptions where they're saying, you know, don't resubscribe for 2023 if you want a print subscription. We've kept it pretty steady, just based on that. We went a little bit over on that this year, but that was because, for several periodicals, it was cheaper to do a several-year subscription than to do, than to do it year by year. So we went over this year so that, it was
And then the only other,
So are
I
you,
mean, the two big ones I see on the library are the architecture and then the part-time wages jumps. Well,
part-time.
only a little, I guess it jumped from 2021 to 2022, and only a little from
Yeah,
last year.
it only, grew 4%,
Yeah.
so it's on track with what the other wages. Yeah, the other big thing is the architect fees, but, like I said, I tried to make that up with other line items in the budget with taking into consideration our carryover and back on things like furniture, marketing, also keeping in mind that there are things that we need that have risen in price in the past year. But our programming has stayed steady, and with things like equipment, we're really gonna be relying on carryover from 2022. Like if we need to replace some computers or things like that. But, that's fine, because we'll have quite a bit of carryover in that line. So,
What are we down to now with the totals that we've changed?
191.
We've only changed 5,000,
we've changed $5,000.
changed 5,000.
Oh, we're not taking the 20,
Yeah.
We need to
25
take some
from
big
parks.
swings,
yeah, so
folks.
we're not taking.
Well, I would, okay, here's what I would like to do. I would like to go along with Patchin and say, let's take 75,000 out of the public works for the streets, only if we're looking at doing the, grant writer, right? There's gotta be some grants that can help us out there that we strongly go after those. We take the 25,000 out of parks, sorry,
Yeah.
that brings us to 105,000, so we're only 80-ish.
If we take the lights, that's another
Yeah,
5.
that's another 5. But granted, we are all in agreement that we're going to, seek other, revenue revenue opportunities,
Getting RFPs in.
grants and,
Yeah,
Kind of
so,
my,
right?
that's my goal, so.
Yeah,
So another $100,000, we got it. So if we push off Red Hawk one more year, we got it.
Well, no, that's including, that is,
that is including
pushing off
pushing
that.
off
It is
that.
pushing off Red Hawk.
But you know, we are-
105, so.
Super late, I think we're at 110, we're at 84,000 left, but we're still like,
75, 25, and 5?
I thought we had another 5 in there.
75 for Red Hawk, 25 for parks, 5 for lights.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
And
sorry.
the 25 that was on parks there that's what the general thought was, to redo the infield at the baseball field?
Yeah, the basketball court needs to be redone, the tennis court needs to be redone, so that's all kind of those.
But you guys do have ARPA funds for,
We do have
well, that's
ARPA
mainly
funds.
for the property though,
Yep.
right?
Right, so you can
So-
still do some of that?
So that's kind of where I'm hoping, I think we're around like 40,000 for tear down and complete, like, replacement of lands, was right around 45. 25?
Yep.
Okay, so then that will
Tear down
be
and-
about 40,000 left over from
Over
ARPA.
Oh,
We're gonna try to sell it, obviously, if there is any type of sale down there, the only thing you're doing is saving yourself a dumpster piece.
yeah.
You know, it might go, hopefully that tear down cost, removal cost will be less. As you get for the ball field was gonna be $40,000 to $50,000. We can really let that go just from the, from skin being hurt. Ball's gonna hit a stone, it's going to somebody's face potentially.
I'd like to know what all the taxpayers think about that.
Well, and I would like to know what the school is gonna get, because I will know that we have been on the board before where the school has said, no, we don't have that in our budget and we
The
can't
school's
do
got
it.
nothing to do with it, that ball field is ours now.
I understand that, but is the school gonna use it? Then we charge them rent,
Right, exactly, and that'd be something that's gotta go,
right?
like I have material-wise, you know.
Yeah, we could
Yeah.
definitely ask Jordan to help.
Right,
Yeah.
they have, and I know that years in the past,
If they don't want to, they'll go
they
to
have said
Mazo,
no.
and, yeah, if they wanna go to Mazo, so be it, but I know they.
Mazo
would
doesn't
rather
have
play-
lights here.
Correct,
They
they would
do.
rather play at this
So-
field, so.
Mazo's got lights.
They do.
They're not high enough though,
No,
I think.
there's
Not
something
for
wrong
all
with their
of them.
lights, that they never really played Master Mazo, right? Help me out here. There's something
Yeah,
wrong with
no,
their
yeah.
lights.
So I say we leave 15 in for the valuation, do we take the other 15 out? The reval?
Yeah, let's go to revale.
Oh, gosh.
Assessor fee?
Yep,
Yeah,
we can split
I
that.
saw that, Julia, split
that's
that.
38, split that down. Then we got another 15.
I know it's kind of nickel and diamond, but the snow, ice, and salt, it's gone 2.5 to almost 7 to 9, now it's down to 6. What are we actually looking at for numbers there?
Oh, still the rest of this year.
Right.
Yeah, it just kinda varies on.
Depends.
Well, and the cost of everything.
Yeah.
How hard we get hit.
Okay.
Right?
We had 9,000 for this year and 6,000 for next year, does that make you feel?
How's it make you feel
Sorry. Bailey,
Can't really take any.
my question to you,
6,000 for.
my question to you is, obviously, we can't, your budget's your budget, we really have no say in it, except how much we contribute. From last year to this year, what's the increase of the village's portion of your budget?
Well, I will say, from when these numbers were put in, I decreased it a little, so these numbers aren't entirely accurate, they're a little old.
How little? Please.
Well, I had it at a 14% increase, and the ask from the village, which, if you'll remember, in 2022, I actually decreased.
Yep,
the ask from
you
the
did.
village. And I brought it down to a 9.7% increase, and that's from an 8% increase in the overall budget, so excluding our, the revenue that we get from Dane County, and the adjacent counties.
Which goes up every year too, so.
What number for,
How many dollars is
Yeah.
your 9%?
so it's, I think one year was 64,000 or 65,000 was village cost,
No, it's more than that.
wasn't it?
Oh, it's a lot more than that.
Well, what is it now?
120?
138,650. Last year it was 126,328.03, and the year before that it was 133,105.99.
Is that just village cost or is that the county too?
That is
That's
just
just
village,
the village.
just the village.
So we're gonna ask our public works to take a huge hit,
So I have a question,
We don't know how we can get out of
and
it.
not our library?
I have a.
Well, that's why I was asking you,
Thank you, I guess I should have asked that, 'cause yeah.
I believe Shelley wrote this in, those wages of $140,000 for public works admin wages. In the past, we're only 83, 86. Right now, we're only sitting at 34%. You guys are talking huge wages. Granted, 2022, snow-wise, was very, very minimal.
Oh, we were
for
lucky,
overtime.
yeah.
I mean, I know this next year we could get blasted from that.
There's also one other thing we could do.
Does that number need to be that
We're at
high?
130.
We could,
That we
we
have.
could not budget for an administrator next year.
I agree with that.
What's a rough number on that?
With benefits and that?
Yeah.
Benefits would be-
It's gotta be a little more than 80,000, wasn't she at 86?
More than that, probably.
Right,
Probably, I
yeah.
guess more.
But we don't budget for it. I mean, I think we should keep some of it just for the part-time help with Lydia and stuff in that, so I wouldn't take it all, but I would take a big chunk of it.
So-
That's what this, that's this.
Because we can always
public
add
works
it
admin
later,
wages.
and we can always,
Do you know roughly what Shelley's
Should we take
total
50,000?
admin was?
I think Shelley was roughly between 83 by the time she was all in. Ish.
Yeah, I think that's right.
So could we
Well,
push?
without benefits, it
Huh?
was, without benefits, it was just under 75.
so.
Without benefits, so it's
It's
more
probably
than
closer to
86, 90.
Yeah, it's probably closer to 90.
So could we push, if we just took,
A year 50?
if we took,
Well, that was 80,
Yeah,
we're
it
at
was 80.
120.
120, so if we took,
I would leave 50,000 in there, just in case you have to hire somebody
then
to
that's
help.
40.
We don't know what we need yet, you
No,
don't
we're at
wanna short
160.
yourself too much,
We're at
but
160.
Can we, is it feasible to ask the library to cut 40,000 when we're taking 40,000 from public works?
No. Our budget is much smaller than the public works budget.
Yeah.
I cannot express enough, other than the architect fees, which again, I'm willing to talk about, but I cannot express enough how bare bones the rest of the budget is.
Yeah, I think, and I understand your point, and I'm not disagreeing with you, but I think that
It just
that is
seems-
exactly what Matt's saying to us also, is that he's bare bones and he's still giving us money. So
Yeah,
not,
it seems disproportional though, is what I'm saying, because our budget total is $202,000. And I don't think that's comparable to the budget in other departments. We're much smaller
We're
and
not gonna
it's,
be comparable.
we're not gonna be
They
comparable,
do
because we're
different
asking for
functions
every
in the
department
village,
to
so.
give up. And
Yeah,
so,
but
he,
it's a percentage, right?
yeah.
right? I get that, but, you know what I'm saying? I mean, public works, we just sucked a ton of money out of
so
it,
how much,
We just deferred a bunch of money out of
right? Well,
public works.
I'm sure Matt's probably not overly happy with looking at any of us in the face right now, so, there's that.
I think we want to
I
have,
also
we
think
want
that's
good
a
equipment.
question.
What we
Yeah.
want is capital investments on good equipment, if we're gonna do anything at all to move forward.
And
How
I
do we
am
get the
very
money for that?
appreciative that, there was the 66,000 from ARPA given to Public Works,
Right.
given to Parks that'll help out those departments.
Well,
Absolutely. And we're still looking, like I said, I'm looking hard for sewer jetter, looking hard for street sweepers. If we have to push lawnmower off,
the other thing to look at is, I think we need to get our hands around what some of the other funds are and what can be purchased as part of streets or sewer or water. So you're not everything's just off the table. It's
Yeah.
just,
correct, yep.
um,
No, and if,
Don't give that jetter pretty much.
I have that same.
I don't
question if
know
we
why
get-
it wouldn't.
Right, right. Why that's not just
so, Bailey, let's talk about architectural fees.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard to spend $20,000 on architectural fees if we don't have the money to
Yeah.
do
But
something.
she also did reduce some of the other stuff to add that 20,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, no, I'm saying that,
Yeah,
yeah.
I disagree
So-
with that.
I'm not saying 20, I said, let's talk about it.
What did we come up with her salary though, that we're taking out?
80, or 40. We
Yeah,
figured it was
well,
90 with benefits, so we took 40,
40,
reserved 50
okay.
in case.
I
We're at
we're at
145 right
So
now.
I figure we're at 160 right now.
160, okay.
So, I mean, I'm willing to cut that in half, if that would help.
I think that's fair, because then you're really only getting a $4,000 increase.
Right. And I think
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
That's what says
That's
at
awesome.
And
one
what,
seventy.
what is that architecture, that's for the assessment of
The new
potential to do the
Yeah.
New Heights
Yeah.
building, and just,
Yeah, and then also, I'm hoping that if we can invest in a good architect now, they can help us figure out
The
how
plan
much
going
money
forward.
we have
Yeah.
and how
Yeah.
much we can spend so that we can get the space we need, but we're not making such a huge ask from the village down the road. And they'll also be able to help us with fundraising and things
Yeah.
like that.
Absolutely.
It'll save,
It's a
All of
critical
us
piece
money.
to moving
it'll
forward.
save everyone money down the road, but I know it's a lot
Right, the
to
public for
swallow
public
right
works.
now. So
Yeah.
I'm willing to cut that in.
Okay, I like that. So that's,
with that, so are there gonna be actual plans, like potentially drafted up with that, or is it just more of like a consulting basis?
So right now, the request for proposals that I have drafted is for plans.
Okay.
But the plans encapsulate both, New Heights Lutheran Church, if that was the route we wanted to go, as well as expansion, new site, things like that, so that we can find the most fiscally responsible option.
Okay. For background, I'm the son of an architect, who helped an architect a lot as a kid, so I have some idea. I have some idea of what goes into those plans.
what do you have,
And we'll,
not
be
a-
looking
About
for
170.
public input on those.
Done?
170 so far.
170.
We're at 170.
okay, you're
75,
missing something, because she's only at 170.
So you're pulling,
170, that's what I
No,
meant.
no, you're only at,
I'm at 75, I'm counting down though, you guys are counting out.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're counting up, so
So-
we have,
so you're still
75.
$40,000 difference.
So what was the public?
75 is Public Works.
75.
From,
25 from parks,
Streets,
5 from streetlights,
maintenance.
okay,
40 from.
hold on a second.
hold on, so I can't have you take the whole 75,000.
Yeah, no,
I mean, it's
we need to
gotta
have
be
something.
20 grand, or I need something there.
Then I think we leave 25 in
Yeah,
there for
right.
sure.
I mean, if you're,
So that takes us
What we're
back.
talking about is denying Red Hawk the upgrade.
and I'm fine with that if we can just do, okay.
There's gonna be
Little bit
something
of
that
crack
comes
filling
up.
somewhere, or
There's
a
gonna
little
be,
bit-
yeah.
So what do you need?
you want 25?
I'm open from me, I got to trust the wall.
No, to do a okay crack filling job for the year.
So we spent this last year for chip sealing
20.
by the bowling alley
Yeah.
and everything down by Public Works, that was 20,000.
Yeah.
Crack filling, another 20,000 this year without doing any chip sealing would be ideal.
So if you
we
got
need to
along,
cut,
you get along with 35,000?
I was thinking more like 20.
25.
I'm thinking
25, 25.
but that's just for chip sealing, are we not doing anything? I know paddocks just need to be done for storm sewer maintenance, stormwater maintenance, rips, ponds.
Well, I'm thinking we might be able to find some funds for that in those funds, right? That's what I mean, it's gotta be there.
Yeah, yep, there should be
Yes,
stuff sitting around.
and it should be used for that.
Right.
We shouldn't be nickel and diming ourselves because of,
Right, and like James said, you know, this whole 500-something thousand in cash for sewer, can't that buy our?
well, that's where I'm going with it, so.
Who's the
Real
treasurer
estate
wager?
commission.
No. Is treasurer wager that somebody outside?
I think it's kinda split, no, it's not
It's
outside.
a split? Okay.
Yeah, I think it just has to do with the office wages,
Okay.
treasurer.
Yeah, that was.
So what were we
I
taking
found
for
out.
administrator wages? We
Okay.
took 50,000?
We're taking 40.
Taking 40 and leaving
Saving
50.
50.
Okay.
So I have 50 now, instead of 75 for Matt's budget, which isn't fair, we're gonna do 50. And 25 parks, 5 streetlights, 40 from the administrator budget, 10 from library off of the, architect, and 15 off of the
Revale.
assessor reval, is that right?
Yep.
Is that what you have?
140?
145.
Did you have the 5 from the streetlights?
Yep.
Okay.
I
And
read
then
that.
what about,
You have police in it?
We don't have anything on police.
I have 85 off.
no,
Well, but that's,
so
that's already reflected in the budget, right? Let's see,
Well,
where
if
is
it's
it?
not, then that's.
Yeah, no, it was.
It was already
It was
reflected.
down at
Oh, yeah.
235.
145.
Yeah, one.
145. So we're still,
That's 145. Oh, you guys are at
So-
145. Yeah, police is already down to 230, that's, so it was 315 minus the 85.
Sure.
$49,000
So some of my
off.
accounts are still sitting, so like in, new equipment purchases, we're sitting on 33,000, we haven't spent any money. If you guys can let me carry that over, so any of my public works stuff, am I gonna be able to carry over?
Yeah, I know.
You'll carry everything over.
Gotta operate.
You're gonna carry everything, we're not taking that away,
Okay.
we're just not giving you more,
Now,
right? Is that what we're doing?
right.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, what?
You
We're
can
gonna let
carry
you
over.
carry everything over.
Right.
Well, we'll have to do a resolution to carry it over, but no, absolutely.
Yeah, but we're
It's
not
going
we're
away.
not giving you any
And-
more.
and-
Now, also keep in mind that in our general cash fund, in some of those accounts and that, we could use that money to finish this up. You don't have to take it from all of this. There is money that you could offset the rest of the budget with.
That gets risky though, right?
It gets-
Yeah.
You
but we
wanna-
did it
you wanna
last
ha-
year.
You wanna have enough money in
We
there
did it
to
last year.
like
Yeah, well, there's a
last whatever,
million-
3 or 4 months or something if everything
Well,
was,
there's a million something.
yeah.
Oh, my
There's
God.
a year's worth, but that's other funds too, that's some ARPA, that's,
Otherwise, we need 50 grand, so.
otherwise you need.
Yeah, otherwise we're gonna cut
Roughly
50 grand, and we have already went line by line, basically.
So I have my bid sheet to take to the state now. You have yours, basically, I got my email.
I have
on
mine.
that. And if you got yours, I'll put
Yeah,
it all
yours?
together and I will make a personal call on our assembly.
Please do.
Yeah.
Mitch, where are we sitting at with any like water, sewer, electrical, when do you wanna start talking about that stuff? So I can work in, well house stuff and meters and.
Well, we'll have to do that, I mean,
I know where that's happening.
yeah, we gotta get this done for the public
You're meeting
hearing,
with the auditor on Friday.
for electric.
For
We're all
electric,
gonna do
not
that.
sewer.
Yeah, no. First, we gotta figure out where we're at, right? So this guy coming in, hopefully with Danny doing some research, we'll be
Okay,
in much better informational shape.
so we are $50,000 outside of where we need to be.
Yep.
Yeah.
We don't need to find that tonight, do we?
You don't even have to present a balanced budget, you could present the budget as it is. But the problem is you're gonna have to pay for it somewhere eventually, or not use
Exactly,
it.
well, we're gonna
Or
pay
not
for,
use it.
we're gonna pay for all of our cuts somewhere eventually anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
Everything will come back to bite you in the ass, so
Many years.
I'm saying we need to buy a little time to work out some of our accounts and figure out where that
Yeah,
money's at.
good point.
We are within 50,000.
Yeah.
Let's see where it
Let's
shakes out
ride
after.
that 50,000, go with the cuts that we've already given.
But we have to have a public hearing on the budget next month.
Our garbage recycling would have brought in 38 grand next year.
Still might happen.
Still might, I'm hoping it happens, but it,
Can we get a full
I really
rundown?
hope it is.
Sure that I have
Yep.
everything in here.
It's, 50 is
I'm
off
just saying it can't go anywhere until you run it to an attorney.
Was it specifically anything?
It was the,
well, I think it's worth saying, this is our plan, is that we
street maintenance.
50,000 is our.
So the 50,000
It's good to make sure we don't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so you leave 25.
Some legal fees
I'll
will be-
guarantee
We
you
left you
something.
25,
Yeah.
and all your carryover.
And we didn't touch the purchase equipment budget either.
All right,
And we didn't touch
I'm just having
the
the.
street.
Yeah, so I mean, I think that's what Matt was getting to,
Yeah.
is that he hasn't spent anything on new equipment this year.
no, that should carry over.
And then
33,000 would carry over, and there's another
40,000.
40,000 budgeted. So could we take, is there some major equipment purchase that is, a
Oh,
lawnmower?
Oh,
I don't
Lawnmower?
think,
Take
from
your
the looking
pick.
at, I don't think he
There's
wants.
like
I
8
think-
things, I know,
I think he
but,
wants to leave it all sit there.
but I mean,
Well,
for-
we still
to-
gotta do street sweeper, we
To
still gotta
think
do
about
all kinds of
it,
things.
but to think, so we have money to rent street sweeper, or to have Cross Plains come in.
Well, 8,000
But
was, we buy.
we might do the,
A lot of people in the public
we might do the
don't like
revenue
that at all,
generator
too.
to eventually get a street sweeper down 2-3 years down the road if we get enough money from that revenue. There was 96,000 put aside from ARPA funds, right, for a line, to help with the line jetter? Was it?
65 for you?
65, just,
Yeah.
Okay. So is that what your thought is that
But-
carryover plus?
Would have to be
There's-
spent by 2024, correct?
There's also money from sale of other equipment.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
just.
For public works.
Yeah.
What is that, 32,000?
32,000 sale of truck and mower.
Yep,
Uh,
which is also towards
I believe
the street
30,000
sweeper.
getting in new equipment for sewer.
plus this
Plus
and
the
that,
other.
so,
So,
yeah.
Well, I
So
think
for what ARPA money is set aside, plus the sale of equipment, plus would be carryover from
I think
this
we're looking at
year,
about, not with the carryover, but with the sale, sewer equipment, ARPA funds, I think there was like $140,000 looking to spend towards a sewer generator.
And the two of them together cost roughly how much?
$138.99.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying, I don't think we can,
Like I said, I'm struggling to find something that.
yeah, I don't think that we can
But-
take any more out of there.
I just would like to just leave it like Pam said, leave it, let it
We're-
ride with this for now.
We're within 50,000.
We're within 50, we have to present in November, we're 50, we're
2 weeks.
145 closer.
2 weeks to
2 weeks.
present.
But we're 145,000
Yeah,
closer
no,
than we
yeah,
were,
no,
which we didn't have, yeah, are we ready?
Yes.
Okay,
So I have 50,000 from Public Works Street Maintenance.
25,000 parks,
Sorry, buddy.
5 streetlight
Yeah.
maintenance, 40 the administrator role, remaining 10 library, 15 off the assessor reeval. That should be 15, yep, I'm sorry, 15. That should be 145, that's 49 remaining off of the 194 levy, or over the budget that we were.
and will you do me a favor tomorrow, Danny? Talk to Department of Rep.
Yeah.
And ask them if, so our increase for EMS, some reason it just sticks in my head, that if you have a huge hit in emergency services, that it may not be capped at the 2%. So,
So then that, we could take that EMS out and that wouldn't apply, and then we would,
And
we'd
then
we'd
that-
be well within, and maybe
some
we
reason
could give
that's
them that.
sticking in my head, I don't know why, and it might not be true, so I,
Because that's something we don't have any
Ask
control
about
over.
yeah, please.
Okay. All right, so do we need to, like, a motion to?
No, we haven't
right,
really.
we're there?
No,
These are just numbers being thrown in.
and so we did
just a
not,
workshop.
we did not touch sidewalk maintenance, construction, the
Exactly.
30,000, and we did not touch new equipment purchase.
No.
No, we
So
did
look
not.
at all the good things that you do have, Matt, because we didn't touch a lot of your shit.
Well, and you know what, like the well house and that, water sewer should be paying for that, water.
Right.
So,
They should be.
and that's something that has to be done right now,
Yeah.
so,
Well,
it'd be nice
we
before
don't
winter.
get a
Like
contractor
the
that's
pump.
anymore.
That should come out of water.
Scott, you know how to shingle?
Yeah, that's what he
Yeah.
said.
Yeah.
I'll help you shingle there.
Oh, yeah.
I'll help you.
Yeah.
All the sewer stuff.
All right,
It's a flat roof, isn't it?
it's not very steep,
No, this is the one at, well, 2.
yeah.
And we've talked about it at Public Works level and just the comfort of so many, just dropped anything. Just worried about there's so many things to go around and getting the overlays and stuff like that. We're a little concerned about doing it at a level, we kind of looking at a professional level. Well, I asked Luke about it, and, just the confidence wasn't quite there to do that. He's more of a rough construction, not finishing up and such. And I'm glad he was just honest about it, instead of, hey, let's just slap this
Yeah,
together.
he's not a rougher.
No, yeah, he was never a rougher.
Well, there's a liability function too. I mean,
Exactly.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can't, yeah. There could be an issue there.
All right. Any other business could be brought before the board for future agendas?
Rock Pride fundraising.
Well, let's see what Mr. Coyle has to say, I'd like that brought around then.
Well, if he does it good, I think it just goes into effect.
Are you gonna present
Friday broad
a
sale?
question to him?
Yeah.
I will, yeah, if you want.
Every
Or you
Friday
want.
for the year.
I'd like.
Exactly, for the
Okay.
next 10. I have my first did you know thing.
I mean, I think we have to, you should probably email the statute and what we wanna do. and
Yeah,
we
you
present it.
I will.
Okay, I think that's fair.
So did you know? And then I went to register.
He needs to get on our
I mean,
horse.
if he pleads his case right, then it's good, it's
Oh, I
good.
got my blurb for your
Yeah,
newsletter.
it needs to be done, but-
Oh, I got.
You know, the other thing is we can put in,
Okay, are we-
put in parking meters.
Well, yeah.
Are we adjourned?
Same thing as revenue we
Yeah,
can do.
and any other, nothing, except that, Scott, if he okays it, it doesn't have to come back, it's already been approved.
Yeah.
So, meeting announcements, November 1st,
6 o'clock, right?
6 or 6:30, whatever, we were doing 6, right?
6.
Yeah, I like 6.
Well, it's all about you. I make a motion to adjourn.
First, wait a minute, the first.
Wait, he's back on date.
Oh, November?
First November, 6 P.M.
Election is on the eighth, so.
Okay.
Yeah, we got that.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, Bailey.
Thanks, Bailey. Thank you. Thanks, Matt.
I'm good with that.